Hi, I'm Erik Linask. I'm here wrapping up day two at Supercom in Chicago, talking with the CEO of Hatteras Networks, Kevin Sheehan. Kevin, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Let's start. Maybe give me a quick overview of what Hatteras Networks is all about.
Sure. Hatteras develops equipment sold to telecommunications service providers around the world, typically to turn up Ethernet services, either for access to like business customers or for transport applications like backhaul of mobile wireless or backhaul of DSLAMs and other similar transport. I mean, in a nutshell, it's kind of we deploy our equipment wherever a T1 or an E1 was deployed before, but we provide about 10 times the bandwidth at a fraction of the cost.
Gotcha. So, what are some of the trends you're seeing in terms of what carriers are doing these days?
Well, of course, Ethernet services are hotter than ever. You know, one of the presidents of the sales force at a carrier we do business with said it best to me a couple of months ago by saying, if it says Ethernet on it, we can sell it like hotcakes, you know, regardless of what it is almost. So definitely lots of Ethernet services and definitely growth in bandwidth. You know, it's if you were buying a couple of T1s as an enterprise customer in the past, it's definitely quite reasonable to sell you a 10 megabit symmetrical or 20 megabit symmetrical service today.
Is that sort of one of the key challenges, for lack of a better word, that carriers are facing, or just having to increase bandwidth to accommodate content and, in particular, video growth?
I think so, and I think it's also just providing ubiquitous services to all of an enterprise's locations within a carrier footprint. You know, it's very frustrating, if you could imagine, if you were the chief information officer for a large enterprise and say you had 10 sites, and traditionally or historically a carrier would come to you and say, well, we can give you that Ethernet service that you like at 6 of your sites, but the other 4 will have to do something else because they're not on-net buildings. Well, now with technology, especially like Ethernet over copper, the enterprise doesn't know how they're getting the service. They just know that it's a great Ethernet service at all of their locations with seamless connectivity between all of their locations.
And I suspect not only do they not know, they don't care.
They don't really care, you know, as long as it's up and it's very reliable. And of course, if you think about it from a service provider standpoint, it's fantastic because now their sales force, instead of going out and selling with a map in their pocket of where the fiber is in their network, they can go out and really sell to anyone in their target locations.
Now, speaking of target locations and geographies in general, are there differences in what you're seeing from region to region, or is interest sort of focused in the same areas?
It's an interesting question. It depends on the application. For example, for business services, it's a surprisingly uniform, whether you're here in North America, whether you're in Latin America, Europe, Middle East, or even places like Australia and the Asia Pac. I mean, it's shockingly similar. The economics are very similar. But when you look at applications like mobile wireless backhaul, it's shockingly different. You know, it really becomes apparent of the natural separation between a North America and a Europe, like you've seen in other applications and other technologies throughout time. Much different landscape, many different approaches to solve the problem.
How much is the growth of the mobile industry helping sort of drive what Hatteras is doing?
It's certainly a very exciting opportunity. You know, we launched a new product about a week ago that has some very innovative approaches that we've invented for doing mobile wireless backhaul, and we were really pleased yesterday when we won a Best of Show award for that product. So, you know, that's definitely a key area of growth, and mobile wireless backhaul is, you know, everyone at the show is talking about these days because of all of the smartphones that we're all carrying around as an example, and all of the cool new applications that we're running compared to just talking on a mobile device.
What are your thoughts on 4G networks, LTE or WiMAX?
I mean, probably LTE is more my view, but anything that can provide, you know, ubiquitous connectivity where, you know, you or I, as we're traveling, well, I would love to have equal network response times, equal access to applications, whether we're on our smartphone, whether we're sitting at our desk, at our enterprise location, or we're in a hotel traveling on the road, as an example. So whatever technology that is that brings ubiquitous connectivity, same level of security, same level of application response time, that'll be the killer application.
Well, it's true. It's we want it where we want it, when we want it, and on whatever device we want it.
Exactly. Seamless connectivity.
Exactly. I've been talking here at Supercom in Chicago with Kevin Sheehan, the CEO of Hatteras Networks. Kevin, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. My pleasure.